Today's episode of the More You Know podcast is brought to you by CrowdQuestion, a brand new social communication platform focused on connecting crowds to bring everyone closer to their community, as well as enhancing any occasion. Rather than being a social media platform focused on content and advertising, they're focused on communication and connection. Learn more about the platform and download the app free at crowdquestion.com.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
Today's
More
You
No
podcast.
Today I want to read the Dalai Lama's thoughts on how you can find value in suffering, shared in the book The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama and Howard C. Cutler. What I'm about to read is the Dalai Lama illustrating how suffering can be put to practical use. So he starts off by saying in Buddhist practice, you can use your personal suffering in a formal way to enhance your compassion by using it as an opportunity for the practice of Tonglen. This is a Mahayana visualization practice, in which one mentally visualizes taking on another's pain and suffering, and in turn giving them all your resources, good health, fortune, and so on. So in doing this practice, when you undergo illness, pain, or suffering, you can use that as an opportunity by thinking, maybe my suffering be a substitute for the suffering of all other sentient beings. By experiencing this, may I be able to save all other sentient beings who may have to undergo similar suffering. So you use your suffering as an opportunity for the practice of taking others' suffering upon yourself. Here I should point out one thing. If, for instance, you become ill and practice this technique, thinking, may my illness act as a substitute for others who are suffering from similar illnesses, and you visualize taking on their illnesses and suffering, and give them your good health, I'm not suggesting that you ignore your own health. When dealing with illnesses, first of all, it's important to take preventative measures so you don't suffer from these illnesses, like taking all the precautionary measures such as adopting the right diet or whatever it may be. And then when you become ill, it is important to not overlook the necessity of taking the appropriate medications and all the other methods that are conventional. Once you become ill, practices such as Tonglen can make a significant difference in how you respond to the situation of illness in terms of your mental attitude. Instead of moaning about your situation, feeling sorry for yourself, and being overwhelmed by anxiety and worry, you can, in fact, save yourself from additional mental pain and suffering by adopting the right attitude. Practicing Tonglen meditation or giving and receiving may not necessarily succeed in alleviating the real physical pain or lead to a cure in physical terms, but what it can do is protect you from unnecessary additional psychological pain, suffering, and anguish. You can think, may I, by experiencing the pain and suffering, be able to help other people and save others who may have to go through the same experience. Then your suffering takes on a new meaning, as it is used for the basis of a religious or spiritual practice. And on top of that, it is also possible in the cases of some individuals practicing this technique, that instead of being sorry and saddened by the experience, the person can perceive it as a kind of opportunity, and in fact be joyful because this particular experience has made him or her richer. Reflecting on suffering has tremendous importance because by realizing the nature of suffering, you will develop greater resolve to put an end to the causes of suffering and the unwholesome deeds that lead to suffering, and it will increase your enthusiasm for engaging in the wholesome actions and deeds that lead to happiness and joy. But anyway, I think that there is one aspect to our experience of suffering that is of vital importance. When you are aware of your pain and suffering, it helps you to develop your capacity for empathy, the capacity that allows you to relate to other people's feelings and suffering. This enhances your capacity for compassion towards others. So as an aid in helping us connect with others, it can be seen as having value. Looking in suffering in these ways, our attitude may begin to change. Our suffering may not be as worthless and bad as we think. I hope this talk makes a positive impact in your life. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening or watching it. Check out other episodes. Leave a review. Follow the podcast on social media at More You Know Pod, and sign up for CrowdQuestion to ask me questions about the episode. Again, thank you for listening as we propel through podcasting with the More You Know.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
Today's
More
You
No
podcast.